So hey guys, it's Carmen here from Urban Farm School. I'm at my property here, the Urban Farm Permaculture Project in Zone 3, Calgary. So we're doing some videos with Verge Permaculture because I'm one of the lead instructors for the Permaculture Design Certification course. And of course, we're always demonstrating ecological systems and the design process. And in an urban environment, often we have to work with existing structures. And by those, I mean trees. So when I first moved to this property almost 30 years ago, these apple trees, which are all along the fence line here, we've got 6 trees, were already quite mature. So at some point, this was all bathed in sunlight for most of the day. It was absolutely, pretty hot actually. But over the years, as these trees have matured, this area has become like right now, there's a bit of dappled shade in here. Later, just a little bit later, we will be in full-on shade. So I wanted to use this area as an opportunity to demonstrate how you can get productivity through the observational process as well. Optimizing the use of the space that we have, and also working with existing tree species to create a forest garden. So in this case, I like to call this little area my woodland garden, sort of demonstration garden. And in here, I've actually crafted 2 separate apple tree guilds. And so this is a really great teaching tool for not only the permaculture students, but for my own students through Urban Farm School. But what I really wanted to show you today was how much productivity can be accomplished in an area such as this that doesn't get a lot of sunlight during the day. So the first thing I wanted to show you were these haskap berry bushes here. So we've got 2 different varieties. They're pollinator buddies. Now this guy here produces like crazy. Now it's got a little more sunlight than the other one. The weird thing about this one is that although it produces like crazy, its berries taste terrible. And so we don't eat them. So when students come and they tour the property, they see all these ripe, beautiful blueberries on them. And I say, I wouldn't advise that if I were you. And they're so bitter. Just this particular variety, it was one of the first ones to come out that was used as a pollinator buddy. Now all the pollinator buddies are tasty, but not these early varieties. And I've got a tag on here somewhere, I can't remember where it is. This one, however, is super sweet. And even though it gets quite a bit of shade, it produces so many berries. So, we always like to push the limits of where we place our productive species. And there's sort of a strategy there. One is we don't have 8 hours of sunlight anywhere in this backyard. No way, no how. But that doesn't stop us from planting. And because they all get different solar resources, they will all flush out in fruit at a slightly different time, which is really cool. So actually by placement, we're prolonging the harvest a little bit. So it's a really great strategy. So even in this type of system, even though haskaps, or honeyberries as they're also called, really prefer full sun, they will still produce in shade. So there's lots of little fruit starting to form on here. Like you can see all the little, they're still green, of course. I love haskaps because they're just one of the earliest fruit producers on our property, so it's great. So when we come a little bit further down in here, we've got things like daylilies with their edible blossoms. Now daylilies are a really great plant in a permaculture system because they can thrive and produce a ground cover effect on a larger scale than a lot of other ground cover plants. And they're a fantastic barrier plant. If you have, a plant that you'd like to be keeping out of your system, you can use daylilies as a barrier plant very effectively. Now, these guys can thrive in every single type of system. They're salt tolerant, they're drought tolerant, they're tolerant of wet soils, they're tolerant of acidic soils, tolerant of alkaline soils, they're tolerant of, they can take full sun, of course, they'll bloom like crazy in full sun, but you can see they're doing really well in the shade. Now they don't produce as much flowers in the shade, but the ones they do produce have a beautiful flavor because they're not stressed out by the sun and they last a little longer. So we can come out here and pick daylilies and throw them in our salad all day long, which is great. We've also got a lot of ostrich ferns in here that just love this location, so we can harvest fiddleheads from those. We've got hostas in here. We've got some violas, some little alpine strawberries down below. We've also got sweet woodruff as a ground cover in here. There's somewhere in here, these always just maybe just showing up. There's some false blue false indigo, which is a nitrogen fixer for this area here, for this guild. We've got a little black currant here, which is lovely. Back in here, we have some lupins. Some years we get more than others, but they're not really showing themselves this year. So those are nitrogen fixtures for this area. We've got some catmint in here, some thyme, creeping thymes, got comfrey over there, some rhubarb there, another currant here. So there's lots of production in this area, even though it doesn't hardly get any sunshine during the day. So we really wanted to, as the sunlight resources diminished over here, we ended up pushing this garden, an additional 5-6 feet, taking up, of course, more lawn space because the lawn always disappears a little bit every year, and utilize this area for more productivity. And it allows us now to have this pathway that allows us to be in the landscape, which is totally something that I absolutely adore. So this housecap produces like nuts, and then we've got a lovely little Saskatoon over there, a Nice hyssop, beautiful, beautiful plant, Cranesbill geraniums, great medicinal plant, Veronica for the bees. There's so much going on in here, but I love that it allows me to be in this shadier woodland garden and use it as a productive, beautiful space in our landscape. So I encourage you not to be limited by your shady areas, but to try to really optimize the use of those into productive, beautiful spaces. So guys, if you have any comments or questions, please enter them below, and we'll be happy to answer those. So I do encourage you to get out into your landscape and really become part of your ecology once again, and enjoy that interaction. So do take care, folks.